going on, everybody? Welcome back to our channel. It's your girl Bex.
And I'm Carly.
And we're here to deliver content to unlock your mindset and actions to be limitless. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And like we always say, ring the bell notification so you can be notified when we're dropping gems just like this.
Absolutely. Okay, so this week we are going to be talking about sustainability. And the reason for this is off the back of COP26, which is the summit currently happening in Glasgow, the 31st of October to the 12th of November, which is also, it stands for Conferences of Parties, which is the 26th UN Climate Change COP. And what it's designed to do is accelerate actions towards the goal of the Paris Agreement and the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change. So COP26 has had 4 goals. The first being to secure global net zero by mid-century and keep 1.5 degrees within reach. 2 is to adapt to protect communities and natural habitats. 3 is to mobilize finance, and 4 is to work together to deliver. So we thought really good opportunity for us to talk about women in this space. And I think for me, one of the key things when you saw a lot of the leaders about was there was barely any women there. And that really stood out for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, like everything, we always want to try and highlight women and underrepresented minority groups with everything that we do. So that's why you'll see a lot of our content is geared around that as well. But I think sustainability is very on topic. Everybody can play a part. So yeah, it'll be good to hear about some of the women in sustainability.
Absolutely. And just to kind of share, I was looking at something from early in the year. They actually was part of International Women's Day. And they were talking about that, you know, it is a very male dominant field. And just like the UK energy sector alone, there's only 12% of engineers and 13% of board seats are held by women. And then one of them, she's the Energy UK chief executive called Emma Pinchbeck. So she wanted to show how for people to visibly see her juggling childcare with her job. So on Zoom, you'd see a kid just like normal things. And that made me think at work, because I never really saw this in my previous team. But I would be on calls and you can hear people's babies, people's dogs or whatever in the background. But it was cool. Like a baby would be running in the background and everyone would just stop the meeting and be like, oh, look, like, because it's normal, like, especially given COVID and people are stuck at home, we should be normalizing it. And one of the things they were saying about promoting flexibility for both genders, because you're providing the opportunity and like the culture and whatever else to say, let's share the responsibilities of childcare. So, to provide more of that balance. So I think a few other things I would just mention is the need for systemic change in culture, work policies and investment with an inclusive culture. Obviously, that will then attract more women and showcasing role models, which we've already touched on in previous videos.
All right, so I'm going to jump into the first person, which is Ayana Elizabeth Johnson, who was on Green Biz's 25 Badass Women Shaping Climate Action list in 2021. Shout out to you and everybody else on that list. So she is the co-founder of Urban Ocean Lab, Ocean Collective, All We Can Save. And she's a marine biologist, and a lot of her work at Ocean Collective, she dedicates her time addressing issues such as overfishing and habitat destruction. And then in 2020, the New York-based scientist tapped into her experience and friendship with climate expert and author Catherine Wilkinson of Project Drawdown to co-launch a project dedicated to amplifying the work of women in the climate movement. So looking at scientists, policymakers, activists, and notably BIPOC as well. So they also released a book called All We Can Save, which features 41 essays where she says that it's basically 41 different examples of how people are contributing to the climate movement. And then finally, she co-hosts a podcast called How to Save a Planet as well. So she started that last year. So she's doing a lot of incredible things. I think it's definitely something that I'm going to look into further, especially the book. as well as the podcast as well, because I never really, personally, I never was really interested in all of this stuff until I started watching a couple of documentaries, and it really changed the way I look at the world and the fact that the world is slowly falling apart. Do you know what I mean? And if we don't do something, then it's going to be too late. And you know, maybe we won't be here to see what actually is the impact, but what we do impacts and is going to leave a everlasting impact on the future.
Yeah, and it's going to be nice to see you know, what's going to come out of this conference. I mean, I think just today, I think India just announced that they'll commit to net zero carbon by 2070, which is well outside of what they tried to commit to everything else. So it'd be interesting to see, 2070. So it's going to be interesting to see the reaction and the discussion in COP26 from that being mentioned. Obviously, Russia not being there, China not being there. So we'll see. The problem is, like we always see, there's a lot of talk. Is there ever action? And I think someone was mentioning about, I can't remember who it was, but they were saying a lot of people will turn around and say, oh no, it's bad for the economy to do X, Y, and Z. And then like, they don't, it was Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah. He was saying they don't, people that say that, you don't get it and understand. And I was listening to, I think it was Homo Sapiens. And the guy was talking about the amount of energy that the sun releases and the fact that what we would need to heat us in a year or a day is such a tiny fragment of what the sun produces. He said it's not a case of a lack of resources. It's just we've not come up with the innovation to draw and use what's already around us. So we are still relying on oil or whatever else. And until we can have that innovation that can use the more natural sources, then, you know, that's what we need to focus on. And this is what actually leads quite nicely into the lady that I'm going to mention, and that is Dr. Jennifer Holmgren. So she's the CEO of LanzaTech, and she was one of the 10 women who are 2021 Women in Sustainability Leadership Awards, one of the winners. So she was born in Colombia. So she is a chemist with an MBA, and she saw like some of the effect that was happening on coffee, just like the climate and growing that. And she noticed a startup in New Zealand, which was LanzaTech. And they were capturing and recycling carbon dioxide. Basically, you have microbes that eat the greenhouse gases. It's honestly, researching some of this stuff has been like incredible. And I just wish I'd gone down like the engineering route, I really do. And they were looking for a CEO basically. And obviously it combined biology and engineering. And she's like, I'm in. So she became the CEO, is now in multiple locations across the world. And she obviously, for her, it was the fact that they were a revolutionary carbon recycling company. And under her, they've now developed a variety of platform chemicals and fuel, including the world's first alternative jet fuel derived from industrial waste gases. And it was Virgin Atlanta who actually had one of their planes fly, I think it's from the US somewhere, but the whole flight was run off their fuel. And yeah, so Richard Branson was saying like, it's incredible that they continue to get investment, continuing to innovate. And it all came from like a chimney stack or something. So I'll have to find it and pop the video up, but it's honestly, it's incredible. But yeah, she's one, you know, she's the director and chair of LanzaJet Incorporated, board of director, where they produce sustainable aviation fuel. Her and her team were awarded the US Environmental Protection Agency Presidential Green Chemistry Award. She's been awarded the Rosalind Franklin Award for Leadership and in Industrial Biotechnology. 2021, the Edison Achievement Award for her contribution to world innovation. And she's the author or the co-author of 50 US patents and more than 30 scientific publications. So, yeah, and she was interviewed.
You know what? Yeah, sorry to cut in. Like, there's just so many incredible people.
I know,
like super intelligent, super just like innovative and progressive. It's sick.
And because they're not in your face like all these. I don't know who, you know, like you Jeff Bezos, you Elon Musk, but these people are doing incredible things, but they're just not all in your face. And like, I don't know why.
Heroes, in it.
Sorry?
It's like unsung heroes.
100%. And we need to get their stories out there. Like this, that's just two of how many. Like
Exactly.
we could have gone on and on and on. And you're just looking at that and you're like, wow. Like, and then just learning about it is honestly, it's absolutely incredible. And she was asked about, you know, some of the things of what she would suggest to up and coming entrepreneurs and stuff. So I'll share as well the videos of her response to that. But yeah, I thought she was really cool, and you can tell she's very passionate about what she does.
That's incredible. It is really, really sick, man. Like I said, I think that it's very interesting because one of the things that we wanted to do with our channel is bring out, like, especially women, as well as underrepresented minority groups, whether that's race, whatever it may be. And we really wanted to highlight them in different positions that you don't necessarily see. We want to see, like, what does a marine biologist do? There's some kid somewhere that is like proper into all of this stuff or would be into it. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like, I just think that the more research we do, you know, we don't even have much time to go like dive deeper into it. Do you get what I'm saying? But it's even like, to me, like, I'm 30, turning 33, and I'm wishing or like thinking, oh, I could have gone down so many other routes that would have been like super interesting. Well, I'd like
someone had just shown you.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Because you only know what you know, like, and you only know what you're exposed to. Do you get what I'm saying? But this is why, like, I think what we're trying to do, like, is just highlight and just give a little something else to what you're used to. Do you know what I mean? Because, you know, and it depends on what you're clicking on. If you're clicking on constant adverts for rubbish, you're just going to keep seeing rubbish in your feeds. Do you get what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But you have to change the algorithm yourself so that you can see more and more success stories if that's what you want. Do you get what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Cool. So I think you had a book to share.
Yeah, so I got a book and then a couple of tips for what you can do to get started yourself. So perfect. I felt like a bit of a neek when I bought this book, and I bought it way before we did this video. So I went to a brand museum. It's called the Brand Museum in London, and I picked up this book. So Simple Acts to Save Our Planet. And basically it's 500 ways to make a difference. So you just like go through the book, and there's just like loads of different tips. Like, you know, I'll just read a couple of out. Keep your car covered in the winter. Not only will having your car covered make it easier to clear off when it snows, but your car also won't be as cold in the inside. This means less time and energy spent warming it up. So it's just loads of tips like that. Do you know what I mean? And which brings me on to my first tip, is basically speaking up at work, coming together with your colleagues to make a change at a bigger scale. So in at work, we do spaces in meetings, which is like safety, success, and we also have sustainability tips in there as well. The impact of that is a level 4 out of 5, and the effort is a 2 out of 5. So it's really easy and really simple for you to get started. Number 2 is dial it down. So turn your heating down by a degree. Just 1 degree more, just turn it down by 1 degree. Impact is actually a 4 out of 5, and the effort is 1 out of 5. It's really easy. You know, if you're still cold, exactly, a hot water bottle, blanket, something to make up for that 1 degree. Number 3 is switch energy. So move to a 0 carbon energy supplier. Most people don't even check their bills, hardly look at changing their energy suppliers. So when you do go to change your energy supplier, or your contract is nearly up, then definitely look at 0 carbon energy. Again, impact 4 out of 5, and its effort 1 out of 5. Super easy for you to do. Number 4, green your money. Green your money. So look at financial institutions and funds that invest responsibly. So I thought that was quite an interesting one to have a look at. Impact is 5 out of 5, as well as the effort is 3 out of 5. So for example, we know that burning cryptocurrency it takes a lot of energy. So a lot of banks now are invest, or whatever it may be, banks, financial institutions, they're invested into cryptocurrency. So maybe look at another institution that maybe isn't. I don't know, it's just an example. And then finally, number 5 is fly less. So I know you just talked about, you know, the different types of energies, the jet fuel and stuff, but reducing your plane travel dramatically can cut carbon pollution. Again, impact 5 out of 5, effort 3 out of 5 for your job, whatever it may be. Maybe you can't do that, but you know, just taking one less flight a year, maybe you could take a train instead. It's definitely gonna impact the world. So I think that everybody should make a conscious effort. Even easier than that, turning off the tap when you're brushing your teeth.
Oh my gosh, it annoys me when people leave the tap running.
Literally. Turn off your shower in between scrubbing, whatever it may be, taking shorter showers. And then turning off your lights and switching off your laptop once you finish work as well, because I know it's very easy for us to just leave it on the docking station, for example, and leave it on
standby TV.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're my few little tips that I've got as well. So that's everything. Wrapped up with some really easy tips. If you've got any other tips that you want us to be aware of, or you want to share with the audience, make sure you drop them down in a comment. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I've been your girl, Bex.
And I've been Carly. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode. We'll share some of the links to the women that we saw in sustainability for you to take a look at. And we will see you next week.
Peace.